Alrighty, so today we have an update on yesterday's video with the Nintendo Switch 2 lawsuit that Nintendo is waging against alleged Nintendo Switch 2 leakers. And boy, oh boy, is this an interesting situation. Now, before we get into that, I'm sure a lot of you people are wondering if you were watching the Spawncast last night over on John's channel. I left halfway through. I don't know what happened. I got really nauseous all of a sudden, probably because I had to listen to John talk for an hour plus. And I was like, man, I'll be right back. I went upstairs. I vomited for some reason. I don't really know. And then I was like, hey, guys, I'm out. I'll see y'all later. I don't know if I ate something or what the case was. I ended up going to sleep. I woke up today. Everything seems all right. I'm actually going to my grandma's for lunch here in a little bit, but yeah, don't be concerned. I'm good. Stepdad, he seems to be doing better as well. I don't really have a big update, but when I get one, I will give you guys that health problems. That's one of the beautiful things about getting old. Things just get weird. But when it comes to Nintendo, they're definitely at the forefront of video game company lawsuits. You don't really see Sega, Sony, Microsoft doing all the sort of lawsuits that Nintendo does. They are very protective of their IP and very protective of, well, pretty much anything that's tied into them. Now, sometimes I think the lawsuits are okay, like it makes sense. Sometimes I think they're kind of ridiculous, like the emulation stuff. You're essentially trying to take off the head of a Hydra that's just going to regenerate. There's a lot of gray area stuff. I don't think there's anything right or wrong with it. You know, it just depends on how you sort of view things. But yesterday on the channel, we talked about how Nintendo was waging a lawsuit against accessory manufacturer Genki. Now, if you missed that video, I do recommend you go check that video out just to get the synopsis and my deeper thoughts on the situation. But basically what happened was at CES, Consumer Electronics Show 2025, Genki showed up with a bunch of Nintendo Switch 2 accessories, but they were definitely saying things like, oh, this is a real Nintendo Switch 2. We got this off the black market. These are real mock-ups that we have from our inside sources. And it seems like Nintendo did not like that situation. And of course, they have now put a lawsuit against Genki. We went over the lawsuit in yesterday's video. Some very interesting terminology was used in there as well. So go check that out. But Genki has now responded. Genki has put out an official statement on the lawsuit, and I wish them well. I don't think they're bad people. A note from the Genki team, and this is not the Genki that tweets about like Japanese video games and stuff. He was very concerned. He was like, I'm checking my emails, but there's nothing here. A note from the Genki team. You may have seen that Nintendo recently filed a lawsuit against us. We're taking it seriously and working with legal counsel to respond thoughtfully. What we can say is this: Genki has always been an independent company focused on building innovative gaming accessories for the community we love. We're proud of the work we've done, and we stand by the quality of our and originality of our products. While we can't comment in detail, we're continuing preparations to fulfill orders and showcase our newest products at PAX East this week. We are grateful for the overwhelming support we've received so far. We'll share more when we can, but for now, we're staying focused on doing what we do best, building gear for gamers, Team Genki. So they are still going to PAX East, which is this weekend, and I don't know how I feel about that. I might take that off. And I know short-sighted wise that wouldn't be the best optics, but I feel like we need to group ourselves together here because it seems like, yes, they are indeed taking this seriously. And, you know, there's kind of some word salad here. You know, our products are good, blah, blah, blah. And I can already kind of see, at least from my opinion, and like I said, you know, I think these Genki people are decent people. I don't think they were trying to do anything malicious. What they were trying to do was they were trying to get ahead of the curve. And, you know, it's not like what they were necessarily talking about at CES 2025 was unfounded information, because you might remember there was another company that said that they had the specs of the system and the dimensions of the system, and they were showcasing stuff off for the system, and that was Dbrand. But Dbrand did it in a little bit of a different way, and I feel like Genki is going to try to potentially bring that up if this lawsuit ends up going forward, if they don't settle out of court or something like that. Because honestly, Nintendo's just going to kind of try to bleed you dry in this sort of situation, unless you have something that's just like a golden goose that will get you out of this. The difference between what Dbrand did and what Genki did was, in interviews, the Dbrand guy would kind of circumvent a little bit. He never gave absolutes. He never really gave absolutes. Whereas Genki at CES 2025 had like Nintendo Switch 2 logos on stuff. They of course said that they got the bootleg Switch 2 off of, you know, a marketplace or something like that. And I definitely think that was very tongue in cheek, but retrospectively speaking, that's going to be a smoking gun that Nintendo is going to potentially use with you. Dbrand did something very similar to what Genki was doing, but I feel like by omitting things like the name and, you know, the logos on their images of the accessories that they were making, they managed to fly a bit under the radar. Whereas with Genki, you know, it's definitely tougher. It's definitely a tougher situation. And I honestly don't think that this was done with malicious intent. This was done with excitement. Because, you know, they're a third-party manufacturer. They did very well with Switch 1 accessories and various other accessories. A lot of other companies did. With, of course, Nintendo raising the prices of their first-party accessories for the Switch 2, there is going to be a large marketplace for these things. So Genki wanted to be kind of first because, much like Dbrand did, you know, if you get your name out there first, if you get your name out there into people's conscious, like, oh, remember Dbrand talked about the Switch 2 before Nintendo unveiled it. Genki talked about the Switch 2 before they unveiled it. That kind of creates a bit of brand loyalty. That kind of creates, you know, a little egg that you plant in somebody's head. And then when they see a Genki product for the Switch 2, people can be like, oh yeah, these were the people that talked about the system first. These were the people that had the dimensions and stuff like that. They must be making high quality products. So I don't think this was done with malicious intent at all. But unfortunately, that doesn't really matter to Nintendo. Like it doesn't. They are a business. They are a company. They are someone that is very protective of their IP. We've seen it time and time again. The Nintendo Ninjas, my situation when Metroid Dread came out and stuff like that. Like, they are very protective, and they definitely have an eye on everything that is going on. I'm very interested to see what their PAX East showcase is going to look like what their spread is going to look like. Obviously, with the system already announced, you have a little bit more freedom there in order to showcase your accessories, but I don't know, man. I wish them well. I wish them well because I don't think this was done with malicious intent. I think they just got a little bit too excited. I think they got a little bit too hyped up on it. You know, they had that CES show floor thing. And honestly, let's be realistic. CES 2025 wasn't very impressive. Like, who talked about anything from CES 2025? That was by far the biggest story there. That was by far the biggest story there. Every website, every YouTuber that talks about games or talks about Nintendo-related things from time to time, such as myself, because I'm not a Nintendo YouTuber, was talking about what Genki was doing, was talking about what Genki was showcasing at the event. People were excited for that. And I think that they just got a little bit too hyped. I think they just got a little bit too hyped. And I don't know, man. Like I said, I hope it works out for them. I don't think it's going to. I have to be realistic. I don't think it's going to, but I wish them well. I wish you guys well, Genki. I hope you have a great lawyer. Like, I would say Johnny Cochran. You know, that he would have been a good lawyer. He got OJ off. Glove don't fit. You must have quit. Anyways, guys, give me your thoughts in the comment section down below. How do you see this playing out for Genki, really the godfathers of these Nintendo Switch 2 leaks? And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like, comment, and share. Hit the bell as well. I'll be okay. My stepdad will be okay. The New York Knicks will be okay. Because now we're into the second round. Screw Boston. It's not going to be pretty, but whatever, man. Whatever. Screw Boston. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.